Saucha invites us to make honest and full contact with the present moment in all that we do. Purification brings about clarity, happiness, concentration, mastery of the senses, and capacity for self-awareness. Welcome to this series on the niyamas. Niyama is Sanskrit for rules, guidelines, or observances. Niyamas appear in Hindu and Buddhist texts, and they are best known as the second limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, as described in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. In Indian traditions, particularly yoga, niyamas and their complement, yamas, are recommended activities and habits for living healthy, spiritual enlightenment, and a liberated state of existence. The 5 niyamas, the focus of this series, are constructive tools for cultivating happiness and self-confidence. The opportunity to practice and live in the balance of each of these arises in almost every moment daily. My hope in sharing each of the 5 yamas is to open you further to the spiritual life that you can live in the physical, and the absolute beauty and wonder that you may cultivate readily for yourself. The first niyama, saucha, means purification, cleanliness. It includes a number of techniques for cleansing the body as well as the mind. The sages say that saucha is not only the foundation for bodily health, it is also the doorway to deeper and more tranquil states of meditation. I also invite you to check out my 5-part series on the yamas next. These are moral disciplines that transcend all world religions as guiding us to live of our light and our highest self. I will leave links for this series in the description. In this episode, I cite and also quote directly from Deborah Adele's book, The Yamas and Niyamas, Exploring Yoga's Ethical Practice. Her wise words guide us into the practical and the spiritual as we explore the significance of the focus of this episode and the niyama saucha, purity. In each episode of the Wisdom Podcast, I share both spiritual and practical wisdom, together with the insights, offerings, and truth that have helped others live their greatness, conquer their fears, heal from the experiences of their past, be resilient, live empowered and free, and of course, of their authentic happiness. You may hear your own story in some of the stories of my clients who have healed themselves, become in control of their life, and reclaimed their authentic power. Seeking a deeper understanding and meaning of life awakens us to discover our purpose and to witness infinite beauty and joy that is so abundant. Each episode is meant to offer something beautifully relevant and timely for you. Let the sacred path that you are on be one that you choose deliberately, based on the inspired wisdom of your inner truth, and as you live a beautiful and love-filled life. The niyamas or observances are an invitation into a radical exploration of possibility. Just how good can you feel? How joyful can your life be? Can you reveal just how amazing you are? Only as you consciously make choices to support this exploration will you find your answers. The 5 niyamas outline the shape of your choices. As we begin, it's important to remember that there is not a right or wrong way to explore your path. Like the yamas, the Sanskrit word for restraints, the niyamas point us in a direction of something better than what we are now aware of. Whereas the yamas focus our attention on our relationship with the world and a social focus, the niyamas encourage our relationship with ourselves and an inward-dwelling focus. In the study of the niyamas, it is as if we have 5 magical and sacred seeds in which to plant and care for of our inner being. These are the seeds of purity, contentment, self-discipline, self-study, and surrender. We discover how to nurture the seeds by each of these 5 sacred habits. First, cleansing our bodies, our speech, our thoughts. Second, falling in love with our own life. Third, consciously choosing discipline and growth. Fourth, knowing the self. And fifth, giving attention to what life is asking of us. As our seeds begin to take root, we experience an inner essence of deep harmony and strength, and access to joy that bursts forth with every breath. The niyamas are both the invitation and the guideline for this exploration. The first niyama and the focus of today's episode is Saucha, the Sanskrit word for purity, and it carries a twofold meaning. First, Saucha invites us to purify our bodies, our thoughts, and our words. As we purify ourselves physically and mentally, we become less cluttered and heavy. Purification brings about a brightness and clarity to our essence. Second, this guideline has a relational quality as we relate to one another and to our shared experiences, including the clarity to meet each moment with integrity and with childlike wonder. We become more pure in our relationship with ourselves and one another, in each moment through our attention to live in the pureness of each moment as it is, and as we cultivate it using the language and compassion of our heart, rather than through critical eyes or judgment. To practice the niyama of purity is to engage in cleansing properties. This includes physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, that which allow you to more readily experience awakening to the greatness of your inner being, your spirit, and your infinite nature. My first introduction to yoga was Bikram many years ago as I was traveling on the West Coast. I will always remember the feeling of pure purification that came with the repetition of 26 asanas and 2 pranayama breathing exercises, all in a room heated to at least 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The Bikram method is considered the original hot yoga practice, invented in the 1970s. It is suggested that the practice of Bikram yoga yields many benefits, including flushing toxins from the body through sweating. Additionally, the hot temperature is said to improve blood flow and helps oxygen reach muscle tissue, which allows practitioners to be more flexible. Indeed, my clothes, completely drenched, was symbolic of the inner purification as the body leans into the edge of what is both comfortable and simultaneously what challenges your flexibility as growth and expansion, filling the space of where you have not previously gone. The feeling of complete and utter relaxation upon finishing the 90-minute class in Shavasana was for me the entry into another portal of time and space. When at some point I returned from this pure form of bliss, walking, often feeling as though I was floating out of those classes, is to me the quintessential meaning of purification and of pureness. The body and mind in harmony and a state of blissful peace. Hot yoga as moksha and other forms has continued to be one of the most enjoyable experiences for me. When I consider the practice of Saucha, I understand better how purification and cleansing in different forms is deeply important as a regular experience for us all. Purification and cleansing lightens us to feel of ease. It is how we most fervently access the nature of the divine as what we are. Taking the steps to cleanse and purify ourselves will look differently for each one of us. Saucha as a practice initiates a deeper connection between mind, body, and soul that reflects the needs that we hold for living in balance. You might cleanse by drinking more water or taking in whole and organic foods. You may experiment with a juice cleanse or a water fast. Perhaps you cleanse and purify your space by cleaning and or keeping an organized space at work. You may seek to live an entire day with pure thoughts and actions. Whatever form purification takes, it begins with the intention to clean and lighten the load you carry. What are the weighted burdens that you carry? Does your mind feel sluggish and foggy from a poor diet or the overindulgence of sugar, alcohol, or drugs? Is your heart heavy and burdened by holding grudges and carrying the emotional baggage of victimhood and your unwillingness to forgive? Maybe there are parts of your home and workspace that are cluttered and disorganized. All of this baggage is heavy. All weigh down your mind, body, and spirit. The practice of Saucha or purity invites us to move into ease, to do what it takes to get rid of the heaviness, whether in our heart, to clean our body, our mind, our living and work spaces, and also the thoughts and beliefs that continue to hold us in patterns of disharmony and the weight of discomfort. One of the benefits of therapy and life coaching is to have a space in which to purge unwanted and unhelpful thoughts and worries, to confess, to speak about our actions and thoughts that have been unkind, impure, unhealthy, to release these through the power of acknowledging their imperfections and through forgiveness. As you make the corrections that incite new words, a new path, a new way of being, you purify and cleanse with new actions that honor a sacred path into oneness with your highest self. A journal practice can offer a similar effect where you write a confessional, speak the words aloud, give yourself permission to forgive as a cleansing practice for past errors in judgment and selfishness, and to make amends, to do the right thing, to correct a situation, whether with a person directly or in the intentional thoughts and actions of love that you send energetically and freely. Our wounds and the self-effacing words that continue to diminish our happiness and create unnecessary suffering causes us to lose precious time and the beauty of engagement in the present moment. This is why forgiveness is so healing. It is a way of creating purity and cleansing that we can give to ourselves and that we can extend to others. If you are struggling to forgive because you have been hurt before and are afraid to be hurt again, remember that forgiveness is separate from forgetting. You can forgive and then take the steps that are both compassionate to yourself and that which offer you the safety of honoring yourself. Others may continue to be hurtful. Your compassionate presence towards yourself means that you remain safe with boundaries that are comfortable for you. The niyama Saucha has a relational quality that asks us not only to seek purity in ourselves, but to seek purity with each moment by allowing it to be as it is. This is truly the meaning of being present in each moment. We are asked to be with life, with others, with all things, with the day, with work, with the weather, as they are in the moment, not as we wish they were or think they should be or expect them to be. When we judge, criticize, attempt to control, manipulate, pretend, be disingenuous, disappointed, or check out, we are not holding integrity to the pureness of the present moment. Pureness is to be entirely present in the moments of our life as they are. To do so always offers us the brilliance of the unexpected. To move in flow with life yields the most incredible results. There is a difference between being pure in your relationship with something or someone and trying to make something or someone pure by your definition. Being pure with something is to show up in the moment as you are and be with the moment as it is. Purity in Saucha is to remove the ideals, illusions, and expectations of what should be and how we want it to be. We also need to release our image of what purity is when we are in traffic, disappointed with our meal or the service in a restaurant, or as we find ourselves in a sad mood, or in the company of others who are grumpy, angry, or unpleasant. In these moments, we are invited to be pure with our experience and not judge ourselves or others as impure or wrong. My next-door neighbor is 5.5. When he sees me outside, he will invite me to play a game with him without fail. Most times, it's hide and seek, or jumping on his trampoline, or the invention of some game like avoiding touching 2 soccer balls whilst jumping together on the trampoline. The purity or Saucha is in the openness to show up for whatever game it is and to roll with the experience and let the fun unfold organically. As adults, it is actually refreshing to allow ourselves to have no preconditioned notions, no rules for fun. Practicing Saucha with ourselves is in the same way liberating. Can you be pure with yourself in each moment? Can you allow yourself to be as you are without needing to fix any part of you or strive to be more or different? What if you allowed yourself to make up the rules as you go and to do what you feel? Rather than strive to become someone lovable, what if you loved yourself fiercely as you are? Instead of managing ourselves, we could loosen the reins and restrictions that we place upon ourselves and let our heart guide and lead us far more of the time. Isn't this how creativity and joy flow naturally? Being pure with ourselves means that we are not afraid of our thoughts and feelings, and we do not have to hide anything from ourselves. On the days in which you feel off or not entirely yourself, these are precisely the moments in which to be more kind and thought-filled to what you need. To take more time to listen inward and to attend to your needs. It can be a time to move away from responsibility and routine and to allow your inner child to lead. When you can be pure with all of the parts of you and in all of the moments and feelings that you hold, you can feel safe and secure to be yourself. And you are better equipped by virtue of your experience of this to compassionately sit with others without the need to fix them. Saucha asks us to drop the illusions and expectations we impose on the moment. To be pure is to gather ourselves so that our whole self shows up to the present moment, to be in one place at one time, uniting our mind and our heart, our thoughts, actions, and words as congruent and as we are in the present moment. In this way, pureness is another word for authentic, real, and whole. The practice of Saucha, purity, asks that we slow down and do one thing at a time. Purity embodies the slow steadiness and integrity necessary to give all of our attention to one thing at a time. As you practice giving each action your pure and undivided attention, you find yourself more integrated and more pure with the moment. Hurrying, multitasking, and busyness are all measures that keep us fragmented and not fully present to one thing in this one moment that we can give our full attention to. Purity requires our complete attention in each moment and to the inward listening that allows us to know what we need, what our heart calls us towards, and to where we will place our attention next. The practice of Saucha or purity, of cleansing ourselves and cleansing our ability to be with each moment, helps us to feel relief and to practice what I call amnesia. That is, to purposefully choose to release what hurts we have been holding on to of our past, including what hurts our loved ones have caused us, in order that we may show up in our relationship with them without judgment, without remembering, instead living in the pureness of the present and seeing them as they are in this moment. Releasing the attachments we hold to what has hurt us of the past frees us to be present to our interactions of this moment. And then as we truly let go of the heaviness and baggage that we have been carrying for too long, we begin to feel lighter, more spacious, and expansive. our minds and bodies alive with ease and lightness in the wake of the present moment, our heart open and full and compassionate. This is the full-on practice and experience of living pure, of Saucha. If you feel encouraged to dive into this sacred practice with me, consider these ideas that you can integrate into your life beginning now. First, select wisely from the many choices of food, emotions, thoughts, and actions. As the body becomes purified, you will experience radiant health. As the mind becomes purified, you will feel increasingly clear, friendly, and cheerful. Second, notice where your body is sluggish. Begin to purify yourself through diet and exercise, and also the space of your environment, if that is contributing to you feeling sluggish and unmotivated. Notice how the weighted feeling becomes lighter as you purify. Be sure to include both internal and external processes of purification and cleansing. Third, practice more moments when you are purely with yourself. Let yourself be in your own company as you are, without the need to change anything about yourself. Journal the experience and what you begin to notice. And fourth, purify your thoughts and speech. Discover ways to release toxic, stale, negative thoughts and assumptions. Replace these with forgiveness, love, and gratitude. Ponder the experience of living purely with each moment as it is. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me here in this new series of the Niyamas. In the second episode of this series, we dive into Santosha, contentment. I look forward to having you join me there. Sending you great love. This is Dorothy. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of the Wisdom Podcast. To hear more, please check out the other episodes right here. And I'd love for you to subscribe and share your feedback on this or any episode with me. And then join me at dorothyratusny.com, where you'll find the wisdom blog, the inspiration for this podcast, the latest online courses that I teach, my YouTube videos, and the Wisdom Archives, which are an extensive library of guided meditations, mindfulness musings, spiritual teachings, and best therapeutic practices for your whole being, and to nourish and heal your life, plus many other special offerings of love. Please also visit me on social media and say hello. Allow yourself to go within, to access your inner wisdom, and to live this. Awaken your authentic power, live your truth, and be love. Thank you. This is Dorothy.